Most of you may be aware by now that a fundamental shift has taken place in Saudi Arabia. And Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, popularly known as MBS in the West, and for internet purposes, he's referred to as that, gave a lengthy interview in which he challenged the fundamental concept of what in the Indian subcontinent we call hadith, or in the Arab world known as hadith, which is the sayings of the Prophet. And he questioned the validity of most of the hadiths there, and thus disrupting the very notion of Sharia law. Now, that was one example of a country that is changing, dare I say, for the better, where people are being given better chance of education. Even the Ramayana and Mahabharat are now part of the Saudi education system, and children know about it. But across the Persian Gulf, the opposite has taken place. In the recently conducted sham elections in Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, the great gift of Allah to the rest of the world, a president was elected through a fixed system from among candidates chosen to run by the supreme leader. Now, the supreme leader is not elected. The supreme leader is, well, supreme, He's the Arab who is allowed to be the ruler of Iran. This is fascinating. He wears a black hat, which means he is of Arab ancestry. In Iran, an Iranian cannot be the supreme leader. This is, most of you may not be aware of it, but that is subject for a separate debate. The new president, it turns out, is the fellow who committed mass murder in killing about 4,000 political prisoners in the late 1980s. Now, anyone who has read anything about Islamic literature or the laws that govern Islamic societies knows pretty well that a murderer, being the ultimate criminal, cannot be absolved and has to be treated the way the law says, which is to hang to death. But no, not in our societies. Whenever some problem comes, we rearrange the rules. So we had Aurangzeb, a killer and a mass murderer, as emperor of India. And now we have this other mass murderer, Raisi, as president of Iran. Almost the entire diaspora of the Iranian population that lives in the West, and there are a lot of them in the United States and in Canada. Many of them are my friends, some who have escaped the area as Kurds or other minorities. They're all unanimous in their view that this was the man in charge of the murder of 4,000 political prisoners, most of them from the left and center as well. And the rest of the world has simply accepted that Iran's new mass murderer will be the guy who is negotiating with Iran about how to bring back the nuclear deal, which was trashed out by President Trump. Does that mean that what Israel's new prime minister, what he and his coalition are saying about the dangers of talking to Iran, are they correct then? Because if a man can kill 4,000 of his own citizens, he would have no hesitation in killing the quote-unquote kuffar or the Hanud or Yehud, which as Muslims we know are the Jews and the Hindus, and which we also know we are not required to be friends with. In fact, we have to kill them wherever we find them. So this is not just somebody who is an idiot like Imran Khan, who knows a little bit of Islam here and there. This is a mass murderer who's from the judiciary, who applied Islamic law to kill people he decided were a threat to Islamic society. And is this the person President Biden is going to talk to? And let me also share with you the fact that in Iran, there are no elections like the way they have in India or Singapore or Canada, if I could say, or most of Europe, even some African countries where political parties can run. No. In Iran, there is a Supreme Council headed by the Supreme Leader. Now, if you ask me where did they come from, oh no, this was a gift of God. They were placed there to implement Allah's wishes in the territory known as Persia or Iran. So the Supreme Leader gets validation from Supreme Council, and they then pick out the candidates that can run or cannot run. So in this election, most of the people who could have defeated Mr. Raisi were not allowed to run. This is so simple. I don't know why the rest of the world doesn't run that way. Why do they have to make entire political parties? No, this is Supreme Leader democracy. So he installed the person who can then get installed in the end as the Supreme Leader. So this fellow Raisi, who killed 4,000 Iranian political prisoners, will end up as the Supreme Leader. He wears a black hat. That's the indication that says this fellow is not from Iran. His ancestry is Arab. And therefore, he qualifies to be the ruler of Iran. You find this slightly bizarre or confusing? Let me assure you, most of our history is bizarre and unpleasant. Muslims have been killing fellow Muslims over the issues arising out of just the period after Prophet Muhammad's death. And today we are carrying it out in Yemen, in Syria, in Pakistan, in everywhere where you go, there are Muslims killing Muslims. Iran is a separate deal. It is on the cutting edge of the most sophisticated way of eliminating its own citizens. Instead of putting an embargo on Iran, declaring Pakistan as a supporter of terrorism, state sponsor of terrorism, just like Iran, these countries get away with it. And then when the Israelis, as right-wing as they may be, the people who have now, replaced Netanyahu, the even right-wing to him, raise the alarm. Should we discard it? Should we say it really doesn't matter? Because the very people who supply the arms to Hamas and Hezbollah, whose ideology is to prove that they are more anti-Jew than Sunni Muslims. All of the actions of Iran are to prove that they are the main haters of non-Muslims, not the Saudis. There is a competition, there's like an Olympics of hatred, and Iran wants to be seen as the gold medalist in it. And that's what's happening, my friends, that on one hand, you have the Saudi crown prince turning Saudi Arabia into, dare I say, a civilized place that one could visit, because both genders now have a little bit of equality, far more than the 10 years when I lived in Saudi Arabia. But things are improving over there in the UAE and certain other Gulf countries, in Oman as well. But in Iran, they've taken the reverse gear and deployed it at full speed to make sure that whatever progress they've made so far is null and void, and they'll go back to the same killing machines and identify every person as an enemy of the state, enemy of Islam, and hang them to death. Those cranes might be coming back. And by cranes, I mean the cranes from where Many political activists used to be hanged in the glory days of Ayatollah Khomeini and Khamenei. We are in for a joyride to see what prevails in the future. Hopefully, what MBS is doing in Saudi Arabia might bring senses to the rest of us, and what's coming in Iran may not get the recognition that they demand. And in this entire episode, the one country that can play a very decent part is the Republic of India, Bharat, or Hindustan as we may call it. They can play the role only if Pakistan stops needling them. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is so complicated an issue. It's not at my level or at your level that we can solve it. It is fate. And as we Muslims say, our fates are written. Nobody, not even a leaf can be turned without the will of Allah. All I can do is pray to Him to bring some sense to Iran and some further progress in Saudi Arabia. Until next time, I will see you again. Take care. Khuda Hafiz. Fi Amanillah.